quick video on well, it is driver shortage, but it's general staff shortage everywhere, and it's got a lot to do with minimalism, because I'm looking for work, like a lot of other people, and you see the hourly rate in a warehouse, right? Paying £9 an hour, £9.15, £9.45 an hour. Right? 40 times 9, let's just say 40 hours times £9 an hour. 10 nines is 90. So the one, 8 nines is 72. So working, you'll see this job adverts, must be hard working, physically fit, for £9 an hour. You have an hour for what? You're not paying the going rate, 15 quid an hour, right? So you're getting people who work hard for you, for £9 an hour. £9 so 72, but let's say 10 nines are 90, times 4, which is 360 quid, right? Time you take your stoppages off that, time you take your CSA off that, like, you're putting there about 250. Right? A rented room, because you ain't going to be able to buy a house and that money. A rented room in a shared house, and you're sharing with 4, 5, 6 people. Right? You can be paying 500 quid to 600 quid a month, right? Which means you're going to have to be paying. See, on 360 you might get 280, right? 280, which is 280 is 560. So every month that you work for 9 and 10 quid an hour, you're effectively working the first 2 weeks of every month of your life to save money to pay a landlord rent so you can sleep on a bed. Right? That's what they're doing. And they'll never be able to buy a place because they're too busy wasting 2 weeks of their life every month working to pay a landlord. And that's why you've got van life. Type van life into YouTube and you'll see van tours, people living in Mercedes Sprinters, Peugeot, what do you call it, the big Peugeot vans, I can't remember what I call them. VW Crafters, Iveco vans, 4 metre vans, you've got 4 metre living space. Right? And the reason why people are living in vans, because in a rented property, one, you'll soon need a guarantor to actually rent a room in a rented house, because the rooms are getting that expensive, and the standard of accommodation is deteriorating. It has been over 20 years ago. You could get you could go from your bedroom down into the living room, or you could actually sit at the dining table. You can't do that now because they are now bedrooms. Landlords have worked out that's another £1,000 a month, which means that the tenant has been short-changed from the living room and the dining room. So if you're not having a living room or a dining room in a shared house, because they're bedrooms now, there's no difference to living in a van where you haven't got a dining room or a living room. As long as you can put a double bed in the back of a van, of a 4 metre van, you can, and the space in the van is 4 metres internally spaced. If you take the bulkhead out, you've got 5 metres, right? A bulkhead behind the driver's in a Mercedes Sprinter. If you take the bulkhead out, that thing behind the driver's seat of a van, Mercedes Sprinter, that's the bulkhead. If they take that out, and you see all the van tours they have, they can spin the driver's seat round and use that seat, and then you've got 4 metres of space behind you. Yeah? I'm looking now, 4 metres, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5 metres is longer than most rented rooms. And that's why, and then once you live in a van, that 2 weeks every month that you have to work physically hard graft so that you can pay a landlord rent to sleep on a bed. When you buy your Mercedes Sprinter, you can use the money you used to pay a landlord in rent, so you can pay. So you used to pay 500 quid a month rent to a landlord to sleep on a bed with no living room, no dining room. You can use 500 quid a month to buy a van, which means in 1 year you've bought a £5,000 van. In the second year you've bought a £10,000 van, which gives you air conditioning. You got free. Then you put your solar on the roof. Then you got free electricity, free energy, which means it doesn't really matter what you power, as long as you can power it from solar via an inverter, a solar charge controller. Which means you haven't got to you're using too much electricity. If you're getting your own from solar, you can use what you like. In a shared house, you've got to share a bathroom after, and they don't like to use a flushing chain. They like to leave it all, so you throw a flushing chain after people. So, in your own van, you're not. Straight away, that's a massive advantage. In a Mercedes Sprinter, you can live life how you want to live life. Van life is not going to stop because of this latest ruling that they want. Because many people in van life don't live van life full time, and they've got a house bought and paid for, usually. Or nearly paid for. Van life is that big because the old way of doing things was get good degrees at school, get good results at school, get a good job, get paid good money, and then do well and buy a house and then do well. Which means basically, people can't stay in relationships for more than 5 minutes. They're all single, all on apps, and then they're single anyway. Living in a van, all these van tours, they've all got a dog, because you can't have a dog in your rented room. So, landlords are excluding people with pets. So, and if you buy your own Mercedes Sprinter, you can have your pets in the van, can't you? Because it's your van, isn't it? You own the van. You make the rules. Which means you don't need a tenancy agreement with all this terms, exceptions, exclusions, and all that rubbish on the back of a tenancy agreement. All that, finished, forget. That's what makes van life. Yes, you're sleeping in a Sprinter. Yes, you're sleeping in a SUV or a Vauxhall Zafira or a Ford Galaxy SUV, whatever, or an estate car. I lived in a car for a year and a half, a normal standard car. That's it. I lived in a hatchback car for a year and a half. What a fantastic lifestyle. Because you don't pay the first 2 weeks of every month to a landlord. And that is worth sleeping in a car for. That means you never ever get into rent arrears. That means landlord doesn't have to say, well, I need a guarantor for the rent, which is going to happen soon. Which is why I buy my room credit, room tips and my room loans website addresses, because people are going to need loans to actually rent a room, or they buy a Mercedes Sprinter with the rent and they live in it. Van life hadn't started. I lived in a car 3 years ago, pretty much about, I don't know, was it about July, August time, 21. So I moved into a car and I started living in a car around about July, August time, 2018, approximately. I don't know the exact date. But I lived in a car 2018. It's 10 minutes. Yeah. I think of the upload time on the video. So, and how much? I've got a couple minutes. Yeah, but I lived in a car. I started living in a car in around about July, August time, 2018. For a year and a half, and I'll still be there now, but I didn't work out. I was trying to learn. Is it you have to put money away for your vehicle repairs, so that when you get a vehicle back, it's your house, if you live in it, it stopped everything. But when you live in a car, or a van, you also want to stop. You've gone off grid, which means you're working. Many now are working remotely off grid, which means they don't need to go back to a work warehouse or a transport yard. I had to go to a transport yard all the time. Oh yeah, excuse the fake cough, and the van should block it all out, but there was. Yeah. So the people are learning to be off grid. When you live in a car or a van, there's people doing eBay reselling, which is massive on YouTube. It just type in eBay reselling on YouTube. There's loads of people doing it. Going around car booths and charity shops buying things for about £1 or £2 and then just selling it on eBay. Yeah? And sending it on to your buyer. Or domain name investing. People are choosing remote working jobs, off-grid jobs. They've got solar panel on the roof which gives them free energy to charge the phone. They don't need. And when you can downsize to a room, living in a rented room, you're almost halfway there to living in a van anyway. You can move out of a rented room into a Mercedes Sprinter in 10 minutes. Easy. The only thing that stops it is you can't get. People can't afford £1,000 to live in a car.